Hello everybody and welcome to another video, a very exciting video because this is the announcement for the next hobby challenge. That's right. It's the next army building hobby challenge. It's Budget of Sigmar 2 Electric Boogaloo. This time it's for real. I'm very excited about this. So it was about a year ago that we decided to do the original Budget of Sigmar. Yes, I know, it's hard to believe it has been a year already, but it has. And that I thought was very fun and very successful, and a lot of people had a good time. So I thought, since we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and we've got a lot of new players coming in and people coming in because of the General's Handbook, and maybe the General's Handbook is inspiring a few people to make a new army or something, that it would be fun to start another challenge. So this is a community hobby challenge to build an army, but this time there's a twist. So let's just get into this and we'll talk through exactly what we're gonna do. Alright, so this is a 6-month hobby challenge that is all about building your own personalized, unique army. And you'll see what I mean by that very soon. So we're going to do this one a little differently than the first time around, because we're going to really focus on quality and personalization, something that is unique to you and only you. Something that hopefully when you make it, you'll be proud of it for a long time to come. That's the goal. So each month the challenge is to collect, convert, and paint one unit. Each unit basically has to meet the minimum size of its war scroll or unit entry, but it may be larger up to the maximum size of the unit as listed. During month 2 and 4, you do a single character model, and then during month 3, you have a monster. Month 5, you have a war machine, and you'll see I'll map all this out on the next slide. It's going to run October 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2017. 6 months. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. So, and I'm putting this video out there now to give everybody a full month to start planning, thinking about whether they want to participate, whether they'll be able to participate, and so on and so forth. Because something like this, where you're going to start a new army, it takes some time to think about what exactly you want to do. And this one's especially challenging because you'll notice I said the challenge is to collect, convert, and paint one unit. So that's the real key to this one. By the way, game-wise, I don't care. This can be for Age of Sigmar, this can be for 9th Age, this can be for basically any army-sized game. That would be the trick to it. So this one's not going to be a skirmish challenge. This is full armies. Could be 40k, whatever. I don't care. As long as you're making the army your own and following the other rules, whatever game you're enjoying is the right game you can participate with. So the trick here is it's 1 unit a month. As I said, the minimum size of the unit is whatever it lists. So for example, if you're in 9th Age and it says, you get 5 models for 100 points or something, then the minimum you could do in that month is 5. If the maximum you could do is whatever the maximum is, if that exists. Or if you're in Age of Sigmar, for example, and there's a maximum on the unit within the General's Compendium, that's the maximum size you can put forth toward the challenge. You are, of course, free to paint anything you want on your own. You can go well above this if you want to have more, but for the purposes of the challenge and the army that is being built and the judging at the end, this will be the only... We will only count up to the maximum listed size. Okay? All right. So let's look at the next slide, because that's going to sort of get our month to month to look a little more clear here. So here we go. During month 1 and month 6, the only thing you have to do is a single unit. But remember, each unit, each thing has to be converted. We'll talk about that more on the next slide. In month 2 and 4, you also, in addition to the unit, you also have a character that you need to do. In month 3, you have a monster, and in month 5, you have like a war machine or vehicle or something like that. If your army you're building doesn't have those things, you can feel free to swap them. So for example, if your army has no monsters, do a war machine or vehicle or something of that nature, or if it doesn't have any war machines, do another monster. So there you go. If you have both, do both. So there you can kind of see that should be how this goes. The real work is going to be right in the middle ground. Okay? All right, next slide. So each unit, character, or monster, whatever, added to this army must be converted in some way. Okay? Nothing can be stock for the purposes of this challenge. Nothing can be stock. Now, what do I mean by converted? Well, I'm glad you asked, imaginary person I'm talking to. I mean, you could do something like some green stuff additions. So, for example, here we've got a Cadian officer who's had a little trench coat added. Right? That's certainly possible. You could go crazy with the green stuff. You could do some kit bashing and bit swapping. There's no green stuff on this guy, but obviously he's been traded around. Some extra bits have been added. We got a head swap, a weapon swap, right? And he's riding on a disc, different shield added. Hey, that's fine. That certainly made that unique. No need to bust out the green stuff necessarily. You can always just go for a complete change out of some bits, some faces, some arms, whatever, weapons, etc. Or you can go all in. This is some kind of crazy Harlequin. I don't know what it is. I don't know the Harlequins well enough. But obviously converted out of Nagash and maybe the Celestin Prime, or I don't know. But that thing is a monster for sure. So you can go to any of these levels that you're comfortable with. I'm not trying to prescribe that everybody who participates in this has to be some wizard of green stuff sculpting and something like that. No. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. You can do this at whatever level you're comfortable with, but every model has to be converted in some way, because the goal of this is at the end to have an army that is uniquely yours. A personalized force that you have put not only your stamp on with painting, but with every step of this project. And to have something that truly stands apart in the world, something that hopefully you'll be proud of for many years to come. But that does make this tougher, and that's why we're setting the bar at 1 unit a month. And at the end of this, if you look at it, you're going to have 6 units, 2 characters, a monster, and a war machine, at minimum, which is certainly should be a decent-sized army to either start from, or you could do more on your own. But certainly, no matter what game you're playing, that's going to be a nice, decent-sized force that you should be able to put on the table with pride. All right, so let's go over the rules here, top to bottom. 1 unit each month. Minimum size is the minimum of the unit or the war scroll. The maximum size is the listed max for that unit, if any. During month 2 and 4, you also need a single character, can be of any size. Could be a character on a monster, I don't care, just some kind of character. Month 3 is a monster, specifically some monster in your force. Month 5 is a war machine, artillery, or similar item. Again, second monster if none exist. Same goes for month 3 if you don't have monsters in your particular force. Just do a second war machine or vehicle or artillery or something like that. Every unit, characters, monster, etc. must be converted in some way to be considered for the final judging. At the end of the 6th month, all budgeteers will provide their finished army along with the narrative story of that force. And that's the other final caveat to this. Since we're all going to be personalizing our army, it's going to be something unique to us. I want to know the story of your army. So when you post up the final thing, we're going to also have a narrative that you include, okay? And that is also going to have a category to judge of who has the best narrative behind their force, behind their unique army. So that's why I'm putting out this video a little more than a month in advance of when the challenge actually starts. This runs from 10/1/2016 through 3/31/2017. And where is the challenge happening? I should have mentioned this at the top, but I didn't. If you're interested in participating after all this, we're going to run this challenge in our PMP, our Google Plus hobby community. It is Painters Motivating Painters. I'll have a link to the community down below. If you're not already a member, you can click that, request to join up. We would love to have you along on this hobby challenge. All that it takes to be a member of the PMP is a desire to take the next step in your hobby journey. Whether that be to get a little better at any aspect of this hobby. As long as you have the will to improve, then you qualify to join us. All skill levels, from just starting out and painting your first miniatures up to competing regularly every month in competitions, are more than welcome, and we would love to have you. If you've got a deep love of painting, of modeling, of this hobby, then you'll fit right in perfectly. So, you have 1 month, basically, until the challenge begins to pick your army, to think about the conversions you want to do, and to think about what the narrative is that motivates that particular force. So I am very excited about this one, and all of the hobby challenges we've done so far have just been amazing to see what the community has put together, the incredible armies, characters, skirmish forces, whatever, that people have built and painted and modeled have been so inspiring, and I can't wait to see what the community does with this, because where are we going? That's right, we're leaving your comfort zone behind, because it's so easy to just get out the force, put them together, get some paint on, probably on something like the standard scheme, but nope, we're leaving that behind. See you later, comfort zone. It's time to bust out, to make something that's yours, to really push yourself. So this is going to be a tough challenge, I'm not going to lie. But if you're interested, if you want to make something that's cool, that you can look at for years to come and think, that is awesome that I did that, then click that link below if you're not already a member of the PMP. If you are, start thinking about what you post. Feel free to post your progress pics in the PMP under the Hobby Challenge tab. You'll notice there's tabs on the left side. You want to pick Hobby Challenge. That's where your updates should go as you think about your force, as you progress month to month with your updates, with your unit submissions, all those sorts of things. We'll be reviewing those periodically, the things posted under Hobby Challenge. Just those two words. That's what we'll be reviewing month to month, because we'll be talking about this in videos to come. So when people finish their units month to month in October and beyond, I'll be reviewing them and talking about them and giving advice and things like that. And of course, at the end of this, next March, it seems so far away, but I promise you it'll be here before you know, your final narrative and army pictures will go under the Hobby Challenge Final Submissions tab. So, there you go. Let's all leave our comfort zone behind and build something that is uniquely ours. I look forward to seeing what the community does, and as always, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.